All right. I just got the note from Tech. We are ready to go. Take it away for Black Mesa.
Hello everybody. My name is Eold, and this is one of my favorite speedrun games, and I'm really excited to show it to you all today. And commentating for me is Kovic and Johann, if you two would like to introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Kovic. I used to run this game very fast, and today I'm known mostly for playing the final boss over and over again.
I am Johann, former world record holder until these darn kids took it away from me. I don't play the game too much anymore, but they keep me around to commentate these things, so here I am.
Alright, so basically I'm going to load up a start save, and the game actually doesn't start when we finish loading the save, because we're going to immediately do a trick that starts the run. So see how we have Barney here? We're going to start the run in 3, 2, 1, start. Goodbye, Barney.
I miss him already. So what Eold did there is called a first tick save load. We'll see it a few times in this run. But by loading the first tick after loading a save, oh geez. Kovic, you want to explain this one?
Yeah, sure. So the maps were made in an editor, and the maps are in some sort of state, and usually they have different events that set it up properly. And if you do a save load on the very first engine tick, then it interrupts all these things. So that's why Barney just disappeared. And also it moves the elevator at the end of this map into a different position. That's why we do this, because it saves, what, about 5 seconds?
Saves a big amount of time, basically, when you're going for a top level time, basically.
So you're going to notice here, Eold had a bit of an accident this morning and slipped and fell in some butter, particularly on his butt. So he's going to be sliding around. This game has a very, very nice feature called crouch sliding. When Gordon here crouches, he has very, very low friction. So any speed he has, it's pretty, you keep it for a little bit. And the friction is so low, in fact, that you can start air strafing pretty much while on the ground. So you'll see a lot of this crouch sliding. It's better for building up speed. So you'll see a lot of him moving around. He'll start by crouch sliding. And then once he gets more speed, he'll start b-hopping, as that'll let him go around corners a little bit smoother.
Just gonna continue sliding through here and everything. Wide open corridors are perfect for this.
This movement in particular, I think, is what draws a lot of people to Black Mesa speedrunning, is just sliding around. So right up here, we have our very first clip of the game. It's a source game, so we like ignoring level geometry. In this case, this desk is very weirdly shaped, where it bonks Gordon on the head as he slides into it. And if you save load at the right time, it forces Gordon into the ground. And then each time Eold save loads, it'll force Gordon a tiny bit lower into the ground. So right there, you just saw him. It looked like one giant load, but he actually made a save and loaded that save about 6 to 10 times or so in a row.
5, 6,
to clip
7
to the floor.
times, whatever gets you through.
Yeah, Black Mesa speedrunning is really just all about counting your save loads. Back in the day, we used to count them out loud, Eold. Very disappointed in you, you're not doing it anymore.
I just kind of guesstimate it.
Source Engine in a nutshell is cool movement and lots of save load trickery.
Yeah, you'll get very familiar with the words loading that will appear on your screen.
Doesn't need to hear all this.
Yeah, I don't want to hear all this. Can you all like let me in, please? Be very nice.
Unfortunately, this game starts off with quite a long cutscene as we cause disasters to happen and summon aliens. So this is Black Mesa, but it is the 0.9 version of the game. We choose this version because there are less invisible walls in our way and less props on the ground to stop our movement. And it also, compared to some of the older versions, has the entire end of the game, which older versions didn't have, and this very delicious crouch sliding movement.
Also, another real quick thing It's like a debate kinda. So some people like to tap E and crouch to speed up these ladders faster. I, however, do not do that. I'm like one of the only people who spam control and jump, and it lets me get up ladders slightly quicker. One of those small things that are just different people do different techniques, and I prefer the ladder.
Yeah.
The ladder of the
Source
techniques, not the ladder itself.
Me and words. Yeah, source ladders are very goofy and a bit RNG in that you mash buttons really fast and you kind of inchworm your way up there very quickly, or sometimes very slowly.
Like right here, I'm doing a small thing. If so this thing's gonna activate and it's gonna make the ground shake. And if you're touching the ground, your screen will shake. But if you're in the air, the screen will not shake when this happens. So it just makes the whole experience a little bit nicer, I guess you could say. Like right now, the screen is violently shaking, and nobody would be able to see what's going on.
It's an interesting pause you had going on there, where the game was paused, but the world was still moving around. You mind explaining that one?
Yeah, I will. So basically, there's this technique called unpausing, or I believe it's called unpausing or quantum pausing. Essentially, I have this key bound to open the console and unpause the game on the same tick. What this does is that it puts Gordon in like a pause sort of state, while the entire rest of the world is out, like, you know, doing its thing. So we can do a lot of things while in this state, such as chain damage boost together, avoid screen shaking like that, and we could pause in the air to activate a timed level trigger, which is very late in the game. It's one of the only other instances, apart from chaining damage boosts, that I can think of where this could be useful.
The most immediate use for it is grenade boost. In some other games, you might have to time your jump right as the grenade explodes, but with unpausing, we can prime a grenade, hold it, jump into the air, and then just unpause the game. Eventually, the grenade will explode, give us a big damage boost, and then we turn off the pause state and go flying.
And now we watch cutscene. This is the most fun part of the entire game, in my opinion.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Best two levels in the game are anomalous materials and unforeseen consequences. The very first two, because both of them have half of this cutscene.
It's so fun.
I love not playing the game. There's a while where we thought those vortigons that fall from the sky, those little green aliens, if you blocked one in a certain way, it would somehow make the cutscene go faster by like a quarter of a second.
Let's see if I can get the cool launch here. Doesn't really save any time, it just looks cool.
Is it a moment?
Uh-oh.
We didn't get that high of a launch, but...
Oh. It transitions from like a normal motion room to like a slow mode room, and it will cause some very goofy physics stuff to happen.
It's fun.
Yeah. No. You know, the vortigons saying hello to us.
Question marks.
They're not very certain people. Yeah. You got quite a few letters with all in punctuations. All right, here we are. Unforeseen consequences. So this level is a lot about very minute movement details. There's a lot of crowded hallways here, and once you build your speed, you want to keep it as long as you can and not crash into anything. But first, another minute and a half long cutscene.
Let's go.
We swear there's gameplay in this game too.
Gordon has ADHD. He likes breaking glass.
I'm glad my windows at home don't break the instant they come in contact with a server rack.
Do the other windows break?
Oh, these ones? Or no, not really.
No, the Microsoft ones.
Oh, yes, they break a lot.
Occasionally.
More often than I'd like. So Eold is going to arrange the props here in this room in a very specific way. Because if he doesn't, there's a chance that one of these esteemed scientists behind Eold, Dr. Kleiner and Eli, if one of them, Eli in this case, bumps his toe into one of these props here, he will explode. Fortunately, that did not happen. Eold showing off a little trick there called NPC teleporting, where if you put a prop on the NPC's head, they think they're stuck, so they just teleport to their next waypoint. Doesn't save any time here, but it looks funny, and it prevents Eli from exploding. All right, well, this is where the run's about to take off. We get 3 big beams here, and then the 4th one is going to blast open the door, and Eold's going to start going. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go!
This guy is having the actual worst day of his life.
Yeah. We've all been there. Show up to work, everything's normal, and suddenly alien invasion. Happened to me last Tuesday.
Unfortunate.
I think they broke the window there with the plastic cup.
Yes. Source windows are about as fragile as real Microsoft Windows.
So does anyone want to explain what save deleting is?
Kovic, you can do that.
So the game has sort of failsafe, I guess, that it's more like a default state for the map. If you use cheats or something to go into the map, developers always make sure, or usually make sure, to give you some equipment that you're sort of supposed to have, and we can force this map restart if that's the actual failsafe. If you try to load a save that doesn't exist, the map resets instead. So what we're doing is we're abusing the aforementioned Microsoft Windows by making a save file which has an illegal file name, and then when we say load the last save please, the game does the failsafe and resets the map and gives us a lot of HP, armor, and ammo.
We just barely made it.
Leap. So what you saw there a moment ago was a prop clip. We will see much more of that, but basically if you gently rub a prop against the wall, eventually Gordon gets stuck in it. And then because he's stuck in the prop, every save delete will push him down a little bit. Or sorry, every save load, not save delete, will slowly move him down. So it's a great way to, if we are above where we need to go, but there's a wall in our way, or I guess a ceiling in this case, or a floor, we can very quickly clip through it.
If you can't
prop
go
clipping
over it
is
or around it, you have to go under it. That's the source way.
Yeah. Prop clipping is unfortunately somewhat not RNG, but inconsistent. So we may be losing or gaining a lot of time in this run based on how fast Eold gets those prop clips.
Everyone likes toolboxes in this game. I despise them with a passion. And everyone else
you're
has
weird.
a skill issue, and I have no legitimate reason to back myself up. I just have a skill issue.
Yeah, I got nothing. You're just not good at this game. What can I say?
Oh yeah, that tile
Eold,
makes it float sometimes.
Eold, current world record holder. So here's a save load, save delete. You're gonna see loading happen 3 times. Actually, Eold just does them so fast that it looks like one.
It's the opposite of skill issue. That's skill presence.
Yes. Skill non-issue.
Let's see if I can do this first try.
Oh, here we go. Oh.
Oh, missed it
Okay,
too
we
early.
got halfway there. What Eold is trying to do is to surf on that little elevator, to that slope that the elevator rides on, and then time a grenade blast to shoot him down that hallway. Fortunately, it was too soon. Sorry, Red?
Yeah, this other grenade blast also skips an invisible wall that's in the middle of that room.
Mm-hmm. Here's one of these quantum pause grenade boosts I was talking about. These unpause grenade boosts, just wait for it to explode, and then boom, we're good. There we go, that's unforeseen consequences. Now we move into Office Complex. So finally the cutscenes end. You want to go for Electro Slide, Eold?
No.
First time ever doing a marathon run?
No, I've never done it, period. It's so weird to me.
Oh, you're gonna learn today.
Not today.
There's a trigger here that kills you. Well, it doesn't immediately kill you, but it straps a lightning bolt to you that as long as you can see that trigger will keep shocking you till you die. But there's a way to use it to boost. But we don't use that to boost because it's very inconsistent. Eold here is crouching and then save loading a lot. And basically when you crouch in a hallway, your head gets stuck in the ceiling. And so if you have any bit of forward momentum, the save load clipping will keep you moving forward rather than down. And so you can just scoot right by that death trigger and move on to the rest of the level.
Eold doesn't have a lot of health here, but in this chapter it is very important that you do not do a save delete, because from the previous chapter we kept 2 grenades, or at least 1 grenade, and we need them for a skip in this chapter. And if you were to save delete in this chapter, the default equipment doesn't include a grenade, so that would not allow us to do that skip.
It's a very
one of the
example of you actually need to conserve ammo and HP in Black Mesa, because if we could save delete on every single map, we would.
Yeah.
Monka.
One of the rare instances where resource management matters in the speedrun. Got to grab some health there for a little nade boost we're going to do to skip a surprisingly long portion of this level. Boost our way up the cafeteria up here, and now we're going to go on to the biggest RNG map of the game. We got hostiles. So very neat trick here. Eold is crouching to hit a save load that is in an elevator above him. Just skips the trigger. You usually have to go up and around to get into an elevator to trigger the next map, but he's just going to hit that change level trigger and go straight to, we got hostiles. Kovic, you want to explain what the heck is going on here?
Right, so we enter the casino because this is Gamba time. This trick is super weird. It involves just destroying and breaking the source engine physics system. So the short explanation is that Eold is trying to jump and save load in order to get stuck in the barrel mid-air. And what that does is that Gordon's hitbox starts slowly rotating. And so he's gonna stay like this for about 10 seconds or something. And then when the hitbox is tilted, it is possible for him to get stuck in a door from the side, which usually is not a thing that happens. Usually to get stuck, you need to go from top to bottom. But here he's gonna get stuck horizontally, and now that we are stuck, we can boost ourselves with a grenade and then save load right through the door. And this is a major skip because it skips the entire chapter. This chapter usually involves just going in a big circle and then getting back here to press that button and open this large blast door, and that leads into blast pit. But we skip all that, and this chapter is about 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's almost a whole minute.
That went
It's very inconsistent.
well, actually.
Yeah, thank you for all the gambas in chat. The more people say that, the more likely it is to work. This is blast pit. This is where the run really picks off. Starting off here, Eold is going to get himself stuck in these elevator doors. Any sort of moving like wall in the source engine is just the prime thing for clipping because it's very easy to get stuck in. He's going to save load his way down to drop through this elevator, fall down the elevator shaft, and very skillfully hit a very small little slope to avoid dying from fall damage. We will see here in a moment. This is one of the longest save load sequences left in the game. Damn, you got folded.
Yeah.
Damn.
We love source engine mechanics. It's great.
Do we have a quick second?
Yes, we do.
I have a $100 anonymous donation with no comment, and I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Let's go. All right, just for you, anonymous person donated $100. Eold is going to hit puddle skip first try.
Oh my god.
There we go. Perfect landing there. Very little damage. He's going to pick up these health
pray.
kits. And now he's going to need to grenade boost twice to build up an enormous amount of speed, and then use it to hit a very specific slope here to jump over this big green puddle. Hence the name puddle skip. Here we go. And no!
Shot. I'm very sorry, anonymous donor.
They can give him his money back. Give them their money back. They don't deserve this pain.
Skill
I don't think I've seen that before. Suffering from success and hitting the ceiling because you got too much height.
You could definitely be too fast. There's a lot of different slopes. There we go. There's a lot of different slopes we could use here, and they all have their drawbacks. You can be too fast for all of them. You can be too slow for all of them.
That method of puddle skip was found by someone named Table, I believe, and it saves about maybe half of a second, but I go for it anyway because it saves half of a second.
Oh shoot, he's going for it.
Yeah.
So he sends the elevator up or hits the button in the elevator to cause a change level trigger to appear, and then uses a damage boost from that bull squid. Those big
Unfortunate. I missed the trigger. Let me do that again.
So
The way this trick works is you need to be in the elevator normally for the change level to work, but he's doing the similar thing as with the electricity in Office Complex to trick the game into thinking that he never left the elevator, and then he can boost himself into the level change to get there much faster than the slow-ass elevator. This is very tricky to get it.
this is... This is a very new trick in the speedrun. I think it's probably only been used for a couple months at this point.
It's been used for like a month.
Yeah.
I think we have one run on the leaderboard that uses it. Oh,
That was way too early. I wanted to be swag. I'm sorry.
maybe next time. It's very important to make sure you're in the air and jumping or crouched when you go for unpause boost, because when Jordan is standing normally, he is velcroed to the floor. Any damage boost you get immediately maxes out at just max running speed. You can't get yourself moving faster than that while standing.
This is just very unfortunate right here, honestly.
Yeah. Here we have our good friend, the giant tentacle monster, who is going to help us by very generously bonking us into the ground so we can skip having to kill him. This is the pacifist solution to this game. Right here, we're going to shoot this gun to draw in the monster. He's going to bonk us on the head. And a nice little save load should get us stuck in the floor. which means we can now. Oh, what?
It didn't detonate. I don't know.
You did double satchel, I guess. All right. Fortunately, these tentacles have very large hitboxes towards their posterior. We gotta wait for them to turn away, so they don't throw it back on us and kill us like that.
That's unfortunate. So
The blast pit
basically,
classic.
the geometry in Source is pretty complicated at times, so you can get stuck on basically nothing, just like that. And I don't have enough health to do the IL ending, so I'm just gonna do this the slow way.
Sag.
And by slow, I mean the way that everybody else does it.
34 health, I think, is enough for a satchel boost, and you could hit the B-hop. You know, there's ways to make it work.
You would think that
Just gamble.
you would think that having basically 0 health, you would not be able to survive damage boost, but that's not the case in this game.
Yeah, pretty much as long as you have like 35 health or so, you can boost with almost anything and be fine. So this is the shortest level in the game, power up. Say hi while you can, we're about to be done with it. There's a big door you have to open at the end of this, in the start of this level that leads to the end. And Eold is going to clip himself into the floor with the loving assistance of this barrel that will hopefully be kind.
Clip issue.
Flip issue, yeah. Did that?
There we go.
No way.
Yeah, juicy.
That's
I think
This,
we're getting slightly lucky with the AI, because normally it's very important to get the clip before the big monster comes and starts damaging you, because it completely messes up with your velocity and the direction you will go. But this was very lovely executed.
Oh, beautiful. Nah, so yep, that was power up. Oh,
Yeah, so basically what's going to happen here is that you can clip through this floor, and you're normally supposed to have a tram here, but if you save load, the game will recognize that there are 2 entities here for some reason, and it interprets the tram as an entity, so it assumes the tram is here, and we can thus progress to the next level.
Cup of Joe brought up a great point in chat. The closed captions when you're in power up says agonized screaming because of the soldiers behind you, but golly, if that ain't an accurate description of that level.
Here is one of my favorite maps, not because of the actual like level itself, but because of the music along with it.
That we conveniently skipped. Good on you. Way to get the audience's hopes up. So this section of the game is really brutal. You go from Blast Pit, which is one of the hardest, like, just early game movement maps, into Power Up, which is very RNG clip, into On a Rail, which is a combination of both of them. So right here we have a little button puzzle. Not too much going on. Eold just has to go whack some buttons in a specific order and kill these guys before they ruin him.
Unfortunate. So other people like to just jump over the Hound Eye, but these Hound Eyes have been very annoying to me. They have been a nuisance, so I must kill them every single run. It is tradition.
Yeah, you just got to 180 flick them if they pull up on you later, you know? You're good at CSGO. You should be able to do that.
I'm washed.
Golly.
Excuse me, good sir. I'm just gonna be heading on my way.
Oh, we're going to use this very special toolbox. Usually you have to bring a tram through you for this level. It's called On a Rail for a reason. But fortunately, through the power of toolboxes clipping us into the ground, there's a big door at the end that we will simply ignore. All right, here we go. More gambling.
I gotta flip the
gamba.
toolbox in the right way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You can clip. Oh, the toolbox can like be used to clip in most orientations, but the one that Eold is currently holding it at is generally the friendliest, unless your name is Eold.
Yeah,
in which case
I
it
don't
does
know.
not.
That didn't work.
There we go.
I personally prefer to have the toolbox in like the expected position upright, and then the setup I use is that I look at an angle, not joking, angle 69 gives the most consistent toolbox clips.
Kovic is
It's almost like they knew. Intentional game design.
I mean, yeah, no, this is a walkthrough.
Yeah, this is how you play Blackface. Right, there we go. Save delete there. Now we have SMG grenades, which are probably the best way to boost in this game. You just right click and a big grenade flies out of your SMG and it detonates almost instantly, which is very nice for timing boosts. You can just jump and right click at the same time and you go flying. Every other way of boosting, or almost every other way of boosting, specifically like rockets and grenades, either have really long startups, so you have to time a boost very specifically around them.
Yeah, SMG grenades are way better than rockets, because in this game it's the classic Half-Life rockets where you shoot it and then it hovers midair for like half a second and then starts flying
Yeah,
and exploding.
like a fighter jet rocket where it needs to get dropped off the rail first before it actually ignites.
Oh yeah, this guy was invisible, by the way. Don't worry about it.
All right, so here we go. The bringer of good luck in this game, or bad luck. This is Space Cone. It's a very important decision that every speedrunner has to make themselves at some point in their run, which is whether or not they are going to save or kill Space Cone. Unfortunately, Eold is a huge proponent of saving Space Cone, so he will load him onto the rocket and send him to Mars,
Goodbye,
where he shows up in Doom 3.
True story.
Yep, real.
I save Space Cone in all of my runs, and you know, I PB in those runs, so I have to continue. It just brings good luck.
This is bad propaganda. Space Cone is violent evil. Another good save delete to pull up some health. These maps here in Auto Rail are one of the few in the game where resource management really matters. Because we don't have too much health and we do a lot of explosive boosting. Coming up here, we're actually going to do a melee damage boost. So Eold here is going to draw the attention of a very specific guard here. And that guard is just going to punch him over and over again. We can't flap our wings to fly, but this soldier can for us. And then he punches us enough while we're in that unpaused state and boosts us right over this wall to the back of the level. There's a cliff face here. But any sort of rough object, if you go into it from the back of it, the game gets confused and it's very easy to get stuck. So Eold will use that backwards wall to clip himself into the ground above the door that leads to the exit of the level.
I suppose if we want to get into it, this is as good time as any to explain what the void is and how this. Should I go for it?
Go. It's apprehension. Nothing happens in apprehension.
Sure. So the category we run is called no void because it's so in the source engine, kind of like in Quake, the maps are made with BSP, and that requires for all the contents of the map to be completely sealed off from the outside, which is called the void. It's the black nothingness, and in the source engine, it is possible to go through the void using save loads, but that usually runs like that just end up being really obnoxious because you stare at the loading screen for half the run, which especially in this game would just be terrible because the loading times tend to be really long, and that's why we have a no void category as the main category where we don't allow tricks like that, but just going sort of outside of the intended playable area, like behind rocks and stuff like that, that's allowed because that's not the void. If it was the void, it would just be dark nothingness.
There's very specific numbers that are shown at the right of the screen that tell us whether or not we are in the void, and it has been a source of contention in source speedrunning for as long as time itself. Our greatest struggle as a community is figuring out how to define these long save load tricks that we don't like, so that we can ban them effectively. And there's always loopholes.
Yeah.
It's always the struggle between trying to have a fun speedrun and going fast, because we remove loading times as pretty much all PC games, and that means that the more save loading you do, the faster you technically are. Even if real time, it takes more time because loading takes forever.
I did not know he could stick his hand through that door. If anyone saw that, that was very weird.
Black Mesa Windows.
Yes.
You think they're running here? Windows Mobile 2005.
So Kovic was talking about save load abuse and how there can be loopholes. This is one of them. So void clipping, you know, you save load through the void. It's very boring. It takes forever. This is like a mini version of that, but it's not in the void because I think it's in a clip brush, if I remember correctly. It's either in a clip brush or something else that is not the void.
It's regular clip brush. I mean regular brush, not clip brush.
We're just gonna...
So long story short, Eold here is skipping about 10 seconds of walking by loading for about 15 seconds. So timer abuse, woohoo!
Woohoo! Also, by the way, I golded 2 on rail maps.
Nice.
Goat.
I don't know how, but I did. Alright, let's hope I hit this swag boost.
Drum roll, please. Do we have a soundboard in the MDSR speedrunning? Oh, there's no custom sounds. So here, Eold is going to get himself stuck in a very specific spot where an alien spawns in, and that alien spawning in is going to force him out of that spot and give him a crap ton of speed, which he beautifully used to maneuver up that elevator shaft. and save himself like 10 to 15 seconds
No,
in the
my gold.
juiciest way possible. Oh, and then he flubs it. Golly.
I will
Yeah.
one day get my apprehension world record back. It will happen.
Yeah, good luck. Are you guys stealing from table?
Yeah,
That's doable. Never
I
mind.
had
That's
it at
doable.
one point and I didn't record it. One of the biggest L's I've taken in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got him. All right.
So that boost with the alien spawning in is called a teleboost, and in my opinion, is the single coolest way to gain speed in this game. Usually because there's a bunch of green particle effects around it, and you just look cool. You just go flying.
Where are we?
We'll see more of that later.
Top side.
If you remember,
Ooh,
the,
cutscenes.
remember the AM cutscene? How I tried to do a cool launch that also utilized the teleboost.
No.
If they find the body.
Funny how the world works.
Yeah.
Can I see some exclamation point body in chat?
Body? What body?
Body? What body? You'll have to duck to get under this, sir.
Speaking of which, play
One,
Duck Game.
2.
Yes, play duck game. Play it now.
But play Duck Game. It's fun.
Yeah, good times. Black Mesa speedrunning community is also the duck game gaming community. This is residue processing. We're in the trash. We lost all our weapons, and the first thing we're going to do is do what we do best without our weapons, which is clip through the floor. I'm going to use this paint bucket, push it into this wall so it loses collision. Any prop that loses collision will regain it about 4 seconds later. Right about now.
That's
And so now
actually
Eold
gonna
is stuck
No, that's
in this
gonna work.
prop. Goat. Now Eold is stuck in this prop right as it regains collision, and moments before he gets crushed by the trash compactor, and he will use that to clip through the floor to the exit. And it didn't work.
Did
He
not
lied to
work.
us. What the heck?
Yeah, it didn't
Oh,
work as he
lordy.
dropped it.
I've had one of those clips worked like that before, but it's
Yeah, there we
I
go.
compulsively save.
Yeah. It's many.
Okay, so Johann can listen to the
Anyway,
This is another one of those source engine physics loopholes where they don't want objects getting crushed, and that's why pushing it against that crusher makes it lose collision.
also, fun fact: you can use elevators through walls because why not? I want
It's a great time.
That's definitely not because of a lack of skill.
Woohoo. For whatever reason, you can get that valve stuck by standing next to it.
Very similar to Half-Life 1.
Yeah. Valve is stuck. The
Valve
story of
stuck.
source speedrunning.
They're stuck.
So, fun fact, or I guess fun side effect of that skip that Eold did is he hasn't got the crowbar. He's meant to have one.
Oh yeah, I just don't have it.
That's okay. We have barrels and we can ignore walls, so it works out.
I called this barrel Jerry because he's Jerry rigged to make all my runs die.
Yep. More clips. Woohoo!
I
First
guess.
try.
That's unfortunate how I got that first try. I mean, it's really
Yeah,
fortunate,
good.
I guess. It's just, you know,
I mean, if anything, this should be the best barrel in the game because it's bright yellow. It's a friendly color.
for being a barrel myself, this is very unfortunate. If y'all don't know, if y'all don't know, my profile picture's a barrel. All my emotes on Twitch are barrels. And there are
Eold
funny barrel
loves
gags
himself
every day in
barrels.
chat, or every time I
Woohoo!
stream. Can I grab this?
Are you going for the clip? Or are you putting it away?
Oh, this is a
Eold meant to pick up the prop.
Oh, we're stuck!
door stuck. Yeah, I'm going for the clip because
Oh,
this is
no.
gonna. We could explain a couple things here as well, and I know how to count my save loads, so this won't take as long as it used to.
Oh, gotcha. So is it no longer the longest save load sequence in the game?
No, it still is, but it's more bearable.
This level forms like a figure 8 shape and loops over itself, so we're going to clip through quite a big area to skip to the end of the level using this friendly toolbox.
Basically, the way that this works is that so prop clipping in typical source games is very difficult because you would have to have a lot of velocity while crouching. Fortunately for us, Black Mesa has an auto run feature, which applies when crouched as well. So we can gain a lot of speed while crouching. So I think it's like basically double the speed that you would normally have in a typical source game. So prop clips are significantly easier in this. Despite this fact, I am still very slow with prop clips. And this should be enough. It is. We are through.
This prop clip is very stressful because when you get it right, you immediately start drowning.
Yeah, I've actually died here a couple of times because I legitimately had no health. I just drowned.
Ooh. So this is residue processing. There's a lot of percussion music and a lot of just moving around tight spaces, kind of like Unforeseen Consequences Part 2. There's a very special thing that Eold will hopefully show us at the end of this level. A relic of a bygone era. There is the end level trigger, and a short ladder before that, there is a random 1x1, maybe a little bit bigger than that, floating cube of change level trigger, or level change trigger. I don't remember the exact terminology. And we are going to jump on a prop or do some funny save load tech to jump slightly higher and hit that change level without having to climb the big ladder at the end. It's quite a beautiful thing. If you're ever interested yourself, go into the end of the level and turn on show triggers. You can see the relic, the sacred icon.
So right here, there's just a little floating level trigger, and yeah, we are now on questionable ethics, where we're gonna do another save delete.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Yeah. Also, shout out to Joel Nielsen and the Black Mesa soundtrack. That was some juicy residue processing music.
I should probably start working on explaining this thing, right?
Oh, go ahead. Go. Hurry.
So this is questionable ethics, and usually this chapter involves fetching a bunch of scientists and then getting them back into the lobby to open the exit door. But we're going to skip all that using this particular prop, this container or gas tank or whatever it is, because this prop is special. So usually when we're doing a prop clip, we're pushing a prop against the wall to get ourselves stuck. But it's also possible to do it the opposite way, and that results in the prop losing collision with the wall and going through it. And that's what we're going to do, and that's why we need this prop, because for some reason this prop just happens to be very consistent at doing the exact opposite of a regular prop. So Eold's going to line himself up and push it into the wall, and suddenly it's going to snap and go inside the wall. And what this allows us is to use the prop later for an actual prop clip. So here Eold's going to go back into the previous map and then jump on this slope here. And that means that on the level change back into the map again, he's stuck in the wall, and now he can continue save loading downwards, and he's gonna end up on the skybox, because as I said, all the maps need to be sealed. So usually what they do is they just draw a big box around the normal part of the level and seal it that way, and the box has a sky texture, so that's why it's called a skybox. And now, he throws the prop onto that roof, because that's the roof of the sort of the exit door. There's like a tourniquet there. So he's going to boost on top of that roof and then use the container to prop clip downwards into the exit, into the level change.
It is a miracle that this entire strategy works. It's been patched out of the game before, but T-Mob, the most important man in Black Mesa speedrunning, found a way to make it work after digging through videos from like 2008 or something. I don't know when they were from, but we're really good at rediscovering strats in this game. People find things and then nobody does it until like 10 years later. It's a good time.
And shout outs to 2838 who found how to get it through the wall consistently.
Goat.
Speaking of T-Mob, he was also the person to find the elevator clip method in the start of Blast Pit, one of the newer strategies as of late.
Yeah, 2838 and T-Mob, for the fact that they don't really run the game anymore, are the two most important people in terms of Black Mesa speedrunning, due to the terrible, awful, enormous time saves they found. Anyway, this is Surface Tension, probably the coolest IL in the game, and Eold is going to start it by doing one of the hardest boosts in the game.
Power 15%.
What the?
The
New
save.
slopes. And him being a gamer, he's going to do it first time. And he's also going to hit the pipe perfectly first try. Oh, juicy.
That was
Yeah,
very lucky.
That's Surface Tension summed up. There were a bunch of kill triggers we had to dodge there, and Eold's just a gamer and ignored them all. So this is a fun tech. If you get a lot of speed and hit a slope, as we've seen earlier, you get a lot of speed. And this is really where we start abusing a lot of that. We have a lot of explosives in Surface Tension now, a lot of open air, so we can get ourselves a lot of speed, hit big slope, and just fly over the entire level.
Interesting.
Almost. This is a fun use of saved the quantum pausing, where when Eold right clicks to do the SMG grenade and then quantum pauses, Gordon still like does his reload animation in the pause state, so you can basically shoot 2 SMG grenades in the same spot instantly.
This is one of the coolest maps in the game if you can do it fast, or if you can do it the swag way. But it's hard. It's called swag for a reason.
It's also got the longest load of like any Earthbound map for build up.
Our pipe to pipe, get punched by the Marine 7 times to fly straight into the exit here.
6 times if you're cool.
Yeah, not even close to death.
Perfect. Going up here,
maps.
Eold is going to rocket boost himself into a slope to gain a bunch of speed and very carefully try to avoid a crow that flies by that for whatever reason has collision. Fortunately, he dodged the crow very skillfully and he made it to the end of the map very quickly.
I could have gone straight to the end right there, but I didn't have the trajectory I needed.
For reasons we'll get into later, surface tension used to be the single worst level in the entire game due to one giant RNG trip that could save or lose minutes. But thanks to the efforts of 2838 patching that, or quote-unquote patching that by finding new strats, and thanks to a runner named Xscape finding a bunch of really cool slope boosts around this level, surface tension is now far and away the community favorite. We love this stuff.
Jim.
On it.
So yeah, there's a lot of really cool pieces of music in surface tension. This is one of them, and we're not gonna hear the full thing because we speedrun the game.
Yeah, if you want to hear Black Mesa music, run Black Mesa no clipping. It is the no clipping speedrun where we don't allow clipping. You get to hear all the music in the game. Coming up here, we have the biggest time save with a teleboost. Some aliens spawn in here, and usually you have to scale some warehouse. We are going bonk. We are going to bonk.
Oh, this is late. I didn't even shoot that.
Uh-oh. This game has a really nice thing where you can't actually shoot the first like quarter second after loading a save. There we go.
This is fine.
This is fine.
We're all good. We could be doing something much more swag, I guess. You know, way more cool. But unfortunately, that boost was not very cooperative. In other words, I suck.
It happens.
It happens to the best.
I could have noticed there that he had like 15 health, but he still had some shield, and shield in this game is just OP. As long as you have at least a little bit of shield, you take almost no damage from self boost.
It's like 2/5 the amount of damage you would have taken.
Something like that.
Yeah. Here we go. We're going to combine an explosive boost with those little trampoline pads to get extra height. Oh, juicy.
That's cool pace.
We have... Yeah. Go, go, go. Hurry, hurry. Oh,
unfortunate.
Oh, no. Rip. No! You had to say it was gold face.
Not gold
there you
face. Go. Big rip.
So this is 2838's greatest curse and greatest gift to the community. Kovic, if you'd like to explain what the heck is going on here.
This is probably the second weirdest strat in the game. So there is a prop on this map. It's a light fixture that I believe the technical explanation is that it's a prop that has a brush attached to it. But the important part is it just makes really weird things happen with the physics. So if you just touch this light, it will, yeah, like that. It will just bonk you and give you tons of speed. And so we can use it to go through this large closed door that's behind Eold right now. So you're just gonna line it up perpendicularly, save load, and now he's stuck in the light. And
I am now stuck in the wall.
Yeah, this is what happens. You get so much speed that you go through the wall.
I've never seen you actually get stuck in it though.
Let's try that again.
It's kind of like a Half-Life 1 trip mine strats where you just like move past the wall in one in-game tick, so it just doesn't exist. You never intersect with it. But we're going so fast that we can use it to get through an entire wall. Woohoo! And previously we had a prop clip there that was awful and would cost you like 5 minutes on a run easily. Also discovered by 2838. Go, go, go.
Zoom in.
We're being chased by a giant monster here, but that giant monster struggles to keep up with Gordon running, so there's no chance this monster ever keeps up with us with our explosive boosting.
Or sliding.
And if we're really lucky, he teleports to the end of the level for some reason.
And no crash?
Since we run the 0.9 version of the game before it was technically fully released, it is not very stable. So at some point in this run, we are likely going to get a crash, and hopefully Eold is going to remember to reshare his game when that happens.
Nope.
Usually it happens at the end of service tension, but it didn't there, so what's likely going to happen is it's going to happen sort of towards the later levels of the game, and Eold is going to have to make sure to save before every single change level trigger, just to make sure he doesn't lose any progress as a result of the crash. This is Forget About Freeman. I made a highlight video for my time speedrunning this game once, and it goes through all the levels at the beginning of it, and hence the name of the level. I forgot to include it. It's very easy to overlook this level. It's very short. Blink and you'll miss it. Just a little bit of very clean movement, some icky water.
The best soundtrack in the game, though.
Oh, absolutely. Which we'll get a nice chance to enjoy on this elevator coming up here. Get your cat jams ready. Go!
Alright. Now we play the game.
While still jamming out to the music.
Oh, of course, yeah. Goodbye. I don't want you here. I don't want you three here. I'm gonna get rid of you. So now I can do... If I can hit this boost first try, it'll be really nice. It'll be really clean. I got it. Never... What?
There's a little slope at the base of turrets that if you hit them too hard, you just go flying.
Yep.
It's a good time. Turrets are funny props. Anyway, that was Forget About Freeman. Don't forget about it. Now we're at Lambda Core, or also known as Lambda Boar. Actually, not anymore. No, definitely not a boar anymore.
Yeah, this... So
That's
Lambda
Gamma
Core
2.
has gone... Lambda Core has turned from the level where 5% of runs die to now 70% of runs die. That is if you're me. I don't want that bull squid there. I've never killed him before today.
No. It was a good run. This level used to end with the longest cutscene in the game, but T-Mob, the most important man in Black Mesa speedrunning, has found a way to skip it with more hitbox rotation like we saw in We Got Hostiles, except it's even less consistent.
It's even less consistent, it takes longer, and it barely saves time unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I suck. At least with We've Got Hostiles, you can try the clip multiple times. However, this one you get one shot.
And if you don't, the run dies.
Yeah. Well, that and if you rotate your B box for long enough, it'll actually it'll become so rotated that you can't really do anything with it. So this is the one instance where this happens. So as you're pressed up against the wall, the hitbox will continue rotating. So realistically, you have about 3 chances to get it, or else you have to load back the previous save load and do the clip from the very start.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so Eold's the only person, we'll see this strat here in a little bit. Eold so far is the only person to have any submitted time on like the full game leaderboard that includes Lambda Core cutscene skip as it's called.
It was necessary.
I drew the short one.
It had to be done.
Colleagues are waiting at the tip.
Night was too good.
Waiting for you, I mean.
Okay. You can save your prayer hands for now. We'll let you know when it's starting.
Is shut down right now.
We're going to detonate the scientist for wasting our time, and also skipping a single staircase. Oh, yeah, did we mention we like satchels? We love satchels. Satchels are really nice for boosting because you just drop them, then right click, and then as soon as you do, they just explode.
Johann calls them satchies.
Satchies, yep. Satchies for good luck. Coming up here, we're going to hope that a barrel spawns in the right location. Otherwise, some hound eyes will come and blow it up. Unfortunately, not all barrels are created equal, and we need to clip here, and the only barrel available to us is an exploding barrel. So we need to get it away from all danger very quickly. There we go. Perfect. So this is right above the exit of the level, and since we can get into floors very easily with barrels, we are going to do just that.
Nice.
Isn't it a
There we go.
huge skip, by the way? It's a really simple strat, but it saves multiple minutes because you're
Yeah.
skipping a big multi-map puzzle.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that this clip exists, despite the amount of runs I've lost to it. Every single clip I've had at least one run die to it.
No. Well, the strats when no clipping when you're not allowed to do that clip are equally questionable.
Equally weird.
Yeah. Maybe not questionable. Yeah, I think weird's probably the better word.
They're interesting.
Man, I love swimming in reactor water.
My save was taking a while.
At least it's technically very clean because it's gonna be distilled.
Yeah.
The wateriest water you will ever find.
Double nade boost coming up, which I don't think is hard at all.
Yeah.
Except when I fail it like that. Skidded issue.
A long time ago, a couple of runners were very scared of doing this boost with 3 satchels or 3 SMG or 2 SMG nades because it was somewhat more difficult and you couldn't do it with your eyes closed.
I'm getting vindicated now because Eold's got it only 30 times.
Trust, I don't suck
Yeah,
this
I
guy.
look a little foolish, don't I? A
BMD
little teleboost for good
maybe?
luck. Let's go. Oh.
If you're really lucky, you can get a boost that redirects off of the top of the reactor, and it's angled so that way you can land right in that hole. Really hard.
Yeah. The old esteemed segmenter, unlike myself.
I spent way too long on that segment.
Kovic, you have a lot of early segments, right? You did the entire like first third of the game or something.
Gives the most.
I mostly did clipping stuff.
Unfortunate. I did not get the swag cycle. Who could have guessed?
There's some funny things you can do with these, like these elevator platforms to just kind of wait until they are right underneath the teleporters you need to go to. But with some explosives, you can skip some cycles. Oh, what a jump! What a jump!
Lucky. Alright, so
Lordy.
here we go.
Get your gambas in chat.
Monka W.
There is a Black Mesa segmented project. It is called BMDQ, Black Mesa Done Quick. You can join the Black Mesa Discord and help with it right now, where we are almost done.
Not almost, but we're getting close.
Yeah, we have 1 level left to go as far as I know. 2 maybe.
1, 3, 5, 7.
Because the door that we want to clip through is quite a bit thicker, you just gotta rotate for longer. Then we've got hostiles.
I'm amazed I
And
got
then-
that first try.
Yeah, nice. And now the door is also all kinds of weird. So there's a really precise lineup that he's gonna do in order to get stuck in it.
There's a little bit of void between certain spots of the door, so if you don't clip in exactly the right spot, you'll get stuck in that void rather than going all the way through. If I remember correctly. Also, fun fact, those stairs you see to the right of him, if he touches those while he has his hitbox rotated, it just unrotates the hitbox. So there are many dangers to having a rotated hitbox if you want to use it to skip things. So one huge thing, as a result of this strat here, that Eold is going to nail right now. Please, I hope. No!
Damn. Now we have to load this back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a really high risk, high reward strategy that you can go for, because if you fail it, you gotta load this back up again. And that should be fine.
High risk, really? I mean, you just lose 1 hour, so no big deal. One very important thing as a
One of the most
result.
prestigious achievements in the game.
Yeah. One very important thing we're skipping. You can see on the left, there's that little cool looking spacey machine where we pick up the long jump module, which lets Gordon jump very far, very quickly. And we're about to go into a place with a bunch of giant floating space islands where being able to jump very far and very quickly is very useful. This is the other drawback to Lambda Core cutscene skip is that we save, honestly, like a minute and a half.
It saves a minute and a half if you do it perfectly. If you get it first
lose
try.
Yeah. On this map, but we're going to lose a lot of time in the next couple of maps because we can't save delete on them to get our long jump. And we don't have long jumps, so we're gonna move through them a lot slower, or we're gonna have to go for a lot trickier strats to move through them quickly.
All right. Well, do we have a couple
is
seconds before we're trying to get through?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I just need to remind the chat the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a national network of local crisis centers that provides free and confidential emotional support to people in suicidal crisis or emotional distress 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the United States. We're committed to improving the crisis services and advancing suicide prevention by empowering individuals, advancing professionals and best practices, and building awareness. Thank you so much.
What the? If I don't get this, I'm gonna go through the cutscene like normal because we would be here forever. We're gonna do it one more try, and if it doesn't work, it is what it is.
Come now, Gordon. Time is of the essence.
Unfortunate. We're starting the cutscene.
What you see before
I'm very
skip
sorry
picking
to
up the
everyone
long
who
jump.
really wanted to see this happen, but I don't want this to go on forever.
One more try. Surely it'll work.
Surely.
This way.
Come on, real gamers spend 5 minutes failing new tech in a marathon run.
Except for you, who did. We've got hostile skip.
That's what I'm saying.
After was found.
To suspect.
Well, okay, yeah, we did that, but then we failed. I failed the elevator boost is what I was talking about.
It gives us a chance to show off these funny monitors.
I'm sure that
So do you want to explain the funny monitors?
Yes. So back in the day when Team Up first discovered Lambda Core cutscene skip, we messed with it. I messed with it and didn't find it too useful because I couldn't get it to work really consistently at all.
nothing, Dr.
However, I noticed a funny thing. These scientists are very buff. If Eold would be so kind as to shoot one right now, we will see that they will ignore it completely. They have a lot of health. But for whatever reason, usually when you kill a scientist, the game, an important scientist of the story, the game will game over because it can't really continue. And I would get that screen a lot when I shoot a rocket in this room to boost myself through the door.
Don't let Hunter's brash attitude.
Turns out I wasn't killing the scientists. Those monitors in front of Eold here are actually mission critical. If you shoot them, the game ends.
The game will just instantly fail you without question.
Yeah, very, very nice monitors. I hope they
Dr. Freeman.
paid good money for those.
So
Wait, will the door even open?
To save that we could, in theory, load up, assuming without the long jump suit, assuming that we would want to show what people would be missing if we didn't get the long jump suit. It's completely optional.
Vote now in chat. Unfortunately, we need to grab the long jump suit to actually open this door.
Yeah,
So
I
we
would
can't
go
just-
through here without the long jump suit, if we could, I guess, just for, you know, the marathon's sake, but it's not the case here.
All right, we see both as one vote. We got one vote for two. I don't remember which option that was.
We're gonna say that 1 is no long jump suit and 2 is long jump suit.
Golly.
That's what we're gonna say.
So here's the cutscene. Or, well, here's another really long cutscene.
We have
Lambda
two
Core.
cutscenes.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute. It's a roughly 10-minute long level, and about 3.5 minutes of it is actual gameplay.
Jump if you must, but
All
hurry.
right, so we got a single 1 from Right. We got a 1.5. We got a 3. We got 2 3s actually, so we'll have to make up a new strat. Long jumpers in shambles, yeah. Table is also okay. So we have 2 votes for option 1. And 2 votes for option 3, which we did not list. Both of which are coming from the same person, but I don't care to distinguish right now.
All right.
I'll just load up the practice save
Alright,
when we get through.
make things look cooler. Eold's so good, he doesn't even need long jump.
We got like 3 minutes of cutscenes. Let's go.
Woohoo!
We go straight
Yeah!
from a cutscene to another cutscene.
This is a very important room to speedrunning Black Mesa because it's where you always go to grab your screenshots to make the thumbnails for your world record runs.
Yep.
Because lordy does the yellow reactor look beautiful. Especially in the most recent builds of the game, you have a bunch of funny light stuff going on. It's just like, delicious.
I love plus strafe. I can just slowly inch my way down here so we can look at them arguing about the donuts or whatever.
The pizza.
Bro's typing on like nothing. He's playing Doom. He's using the arrow keys.
He's typing up a storm.
He just got on the perfect line.
This is the exact room Ryan Lockwood sat in when he got Streets 112.
Yeah.
It's true. That's why he was so hyped.
That-
He was
that
under
is
threat
Ryan
of
Lockwood.
Yeah, he was under threat of alien invasion. So he got so excited. He had one chance. He had to make it happen.
If this guy shoots me one more time,
There we go.
don't you dare.
These guys are very good at they try and pathfind to you by climbing into like very high up, but there's a ceiling, so they kind of get their head stuck. So there's 3 aliens in here right now. 2 of them are stuck and not shooting at Eold, and we're gonna hope this 3rd one gets stuck, but usually they don't get stuck here. Are you gonna have enough health by the end of this? There he is. We can get ready to look.
To save.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and I got this and this. Trust.
Yeah.
When I was segmenting this map for BMDQ, I like scoured every single bit of ammo because I thought we would not have enough after a certain trick.
There was a strat, I think it was Big Man Funny tried it, or maybe it was Knight, where we waited out this cutscene and ignored the enemies that spawn in by just sitting at the bottom of the reactor where you slowly take damage. But there's just so much health and armor in this room, you can pick it up and gather it at the bottom of the reactor and just kind of like pick it up as you lose health and ammo.
I did not know.
This one is better though, because you can actually AFK.
Yeah, this is the optimal strat, just getting them stuck in the ceiling.
I'm taking this with me. Never mind.
Ooh.
You took damage from that teleporter.
Yeah, that's a thing that happens, but we have enough health.
Yeah.
Let's pray for no RNG crash here, because as we previously mentioned, the game will crash once per run, and yeah, it hasn't crashed yet.
Well, we have that practice save.
Yeah.
Be okay. Although this would be one of the scariest games for the game to crash, because as I recall, you can't actually save during this cutscene, so if it crashes, you'd have to rewatch the entire thing. I could be full of baloney though.
I've been told you can.
Okay. But none of us have tested it.
For the sake of giving you guys the full experience, I won't load the practice save until this cutscene is done.
So this is Zen. Usually we have a long jump module here, but for the first few maps we won't. But on top of that, this is the last third of the game, so we have unlocked all our weapons. Every time we save delete, we get a bunch of health and a bunch of ammo. So in short, this is where Gordon learns how to fly.
So this is a strat that Knight sort of found, but I was messing with it with the long jump suit. I call it Stingray. I don't know what he calls it.
God boost, I believe.
Oh, I tried the full send. It didn't work. But it's okay. We got a teleporter right here.
Wow.
So this is what you would see if you didn't grab the long jump suit, and if you can imagine, the long jump suit itself saves a lot of time throughout the first 2 Zen maps, simply because this is where it's like, you know, it's tight corridors, weird boosts. I don't know how that worked. And and yeah, so, but fortunately for us, Lambda Core Clips saves so much time on its own that this is basically like negligible. Unless you have a skill issue and boost into a wall, like me.
This map is the biggest time loss just because of all these tight corridors that we can no longer just long jump through very quickly.
I've been messing with damage boosts and gauss boosts for a very long time, ever since Team Mob found a somewhat consistent setup for Lambda Core. But I wasn't able to find a whole lot, other than like maybe that one gauss boost and the next gauss boost in this very long hallway.
Eold is a very big fan of gauss boosting. This is the Tau Cannon, by the way. Every time he charges it up and shoots it, it has a bunch of recoil, so he can use it to push himself forward. Probably should have explained that a little bit sooner.
also, by the way, this it's nothing, but I just 180 flick shot that zombie.
Go. Cool. CS:GO Global Elite right here.
Yes.
Thankfully, that was the last map where we didn't have the long jump module, even though we technically normally skip it now in the run, because save delete exists. So now the game is going to give us the long jump back, so you can see Zen in its full glory, which involves... Yeah, there's the long jump module, and Zen in its full glory involves a lot of explosions.
Zen is one of the hardest, like, parts of the game to do fast. I didn't properly get that. I could have gone a bit further, but, fun fact, there's a skybox somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but it will just instantly stop you if you try to get past it and you're really high up. Tree map.
It's a very juicy boost. So this is a tree map. This is where you prove how good you are at Zen. It's like it's a minute 40 long map or so. Unfortunately, there is either no way or one very, very, very voodoo way to skip a big door that we have to unlock. So Eold is not going to go for the 2 voodoo stuff, and he's just going to manually open the door by blowing up some tumors on this tree.
Be the first person to do it in an RTA setting at a marathon.
It's a void clip anyway. It's illegal.
Oh yeah,
true.
So that would technically be illegal.
Saved once again.
As if
There's some
loading up
trip
the
mines
practice
here.
save wasn't illegal.
So Zen poses some problems for standard Black Mesa movement. There are a lot of displacements that cause these little sloped edges, and you cannot jump when running up a high enough slope. So sometimes you will try and activate a long jump and it just won't come out because you're moving up a slope. If you don't, and a lot of times those slopes don't match exactly with the visuals of the game. So a lot of the movement sections right here where you're moving through tunnels, you just kind of have to play the game a lot and get a feel for where those slopes are. So unfortunately, Zen turns a lot of people off from the game because they very much get into it for the Earthbound speedrunning part of it, and then they get to Zen and it's a completely different game.
Oh, so close.
And unfortunately for us though, that is not Eold, and Eold is a gamer and is good at all of it.
I don't know what this skip is still called, despite running the game for like almost a year now. Or no, I don't know, not a year, it's been shorter. But regardless, I hate this skip.
So he's gonna get a bunch of speed and then hit a very tiny slope here to gracefully boost up this canyon and skip a whole lot of walking.
Whee! Just a fun set of damage boost.
Right before I was about to say that was a really good tree map, you get stuck on the ledge.
Commentator's
Wait, what's
curse proves itself.
Do you have a timer open? How fast was that tree map?
Oh,
it's too late now.
That was a 136.
Oh, juicy.
Be better, but you know.
Goat. Here we're going to see a fun interaction with long jumping, Tau boosting, and water. If you just hold the spacebar on water, when in water, it's basically the same thing as holding crouch. You just skip along the surface like a very flat rock. It's very easy for maintaining speed and getting around quickly.
Usually go sharking, but I'm not really sure why, because it's more like a dolphin.
Yeah. Very weird at some points. Excuse me. I need to grab this canister. It has a lot of Tau ammo, which is going to be very useful in the next map, which we so desperately want to skip, but... Aw. So this is puzzle map, hamburger, whatever you want to call it.
There's a very long button puzzle that we have to do. We have found no way to cheese this map. If we did, we would call it cheeseburger map.
So you might be aware that Black Mesa is a remake of Half-Life 1, or a reimagining of Half-Life 1. And in Half-Life 1, the original, this spot is about a 30-second what?
Interesting.
Did you click off the game?
No. I did not. Very rare crash, I guess.
Source.
Because source.
Woohoo.
All right. Well, I guess we're getting that back up. I just want to let you know I've got a donation here for $5 from Anonymous. It says every little bit counts. And that's so very true. We're raising money for the 988 Crisis Help Hotline, and every bit that you get out here really does help. Thank y'all for giving me a little bit.
We good? Everything okay?
We can see the game.
All right. Let's hope that the audio continually recaptures. It should.
Random crashes. That is true. Very, very on theme for an MDSR speedrun marathon.
We are back. Better than
Let's
ever.
go.
My frame rate is actually noticeably higher.
Let's go. Kovic, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just saying that in Half-Life 1, this part of the game, it's about 30 seconds long, and the Black Mesa developers expanded it to about a 5-minute button puzzle.
Woo! So I lied, there's a little bit of cheese we got going on here. We're actually going to go hit these buttons and mess with these cables and grab these gemstones out of order. It is a long, convoluted route that saves how much time, Eold?
I actually don't know. It's not more than like maybe 10 seconds if you do everything first try. I have weird plug thing. I have community gold with it, but I only have it by like 2 seconds, and it's a completely different route. No way.
Yeah.
That almost landed. For context, for Black Mesa Done Quick, I was working on this plug puzzle for a total of, I think, 8 hours, and I haven't gotten that once. But if I got that on this run, I would have been very upset.
Seek help.
And guess how much time that saves? 0.2 seconds.
Woohoo! Yeah, I love segmenting. Yeah,
Let's go.
Unnecessary
segmenting.
optimization. Let's go.
Yeah. Golly.
You're coming with me. Yeet.
Ooh. So yeah, we went to the last puzzle, then we just did the first puzzle, and now Eold's gonna go back and do the second puzzle and then boost to the end.
The main way that this really saves time is because normally, when you push the first button to start the actual puzzle itself at the very first part of the map, you have to wait for about, I believe it's 15 to 20 seconds, probably a little bit less. And I think it was at VGB, I don't know what he thought, but he probably thought something along the lines of, wow, this is really boring. I wish I could do something else. So you could just go back and start solving the other puzzles, which you would have to go out of your way for, but it is still a net time save if you do everything correctly.
Ooh, yeah.
Also, that infinite armor glitch.
Aha, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's called armor glitch.
Yes, usually there's a shower looking structure that you walk into to like we'll see it in Interloper in a little bit. And basically there's a electric beam that attaches to you when you're in that shower and continuously refills your shields. If you save load the basically tick that you walk out of that trigger, similar to what we saw Eold do with the elevator and blast pit, you save load as you exit a certain trigger, the game forgets to turn off that like electric beam that's continuously filling your shield. So because Eold was moving very quickly past the area that refilled his shield, he save loaded, he kept that beam. As we see here, he just continuously refills his shield. As you see on the bottom right, the second number that right now says 100. And so because of that, he basically just continuously has full shields. Anytime he takes any damage, it immediately fills back up again, which becomes very useful for the bigger and bigger and bigger boosts that we keep doing.
I really want to get that boost. The big boy boost.
The large boy boost. Yeah. Coming soon to Black Mesa Marathon run near you. Biggest boost. By soon, I mean about 5 minutes. So that was Zen. It's all done now. Now we go to Gonarch's Lair, the section of the game with the longest load times. So each loading time will be about a minute long, maybe a little bit better.
It's like maybe 10 seconds, but to us it is a minute.
It also involves a very large headcrab boss, but we're peaceful folks here in the Black Mesa speedrun community, so we're doing the pacifist route, where we do not fight the boss. We basically barely see her at all.
Mm-hmm. There's an intended route to pacifist this, but we do the unintended route where we just casually leave the intended play space because there's some gaps in the intended play space.
This is like one of my favorite Zen chapters for some unknown reason. I just like it. It
has some gnarly music.
That too. It's also very short as well, and it involves some very, very weird implementations of explosive boosting, which might make you think, wait a second, aren't we out of bounds? But technically we are not.
Yeah, all around us is the skybox, and in Zen, a lot of the terrain is made out of what they call in the editor displacements, and we're seeing the backside of those displacements, and that's why I like to call this the displacement land.
Ooh. This is where just understanding where the edges and slopes in the invisible edges and slopes in Zen level design really matters. These tight tunnels here, you can long jump through them very quickly, or you can immediately burn all 3 long jumps and then get stuck on something and just be stuck and take forever to slowly crawl through them. Fortunately, Eold here skillfully moves through them.
Bumping into everything in my way.
Here we're gonna see Gonarch here for a moment. Get ready. Drum roll. There she is. Never mind. Eold just strategically turned away. We have seen no boss. There is no boss in Gonarch's Lair.
We made it up.
Ooh. That worked. Yeah, we're supposed to be being chased by Gonarch right now, but we're just so fast that she kind of gave up, lost track of us. Wasn't quite sure where we went.
Yeah, Gunnar is made up by our writers. It never happened. It's pure fiction.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Action Storm who found this strat. Thank you, Action Storm.
The goat. Action Storm, the most important man in Black Mesa speedrunning, completely revolutionized Interloper by getting rid of T-Mob, the most important man in Black Mesa speedrunning's awful strats.
We love
Ooh.
save loads.
Loading.
Action Storm has made it his mission to what is it? Basically just find strats that are better than T-Mob's existing ones, which ties into another point that there's a map that I don't know the name of, but we call it T-Mob Erasure map because there was a strat that T-Mob found that was absolutely atrocious and killed many runs, and Action Storm found a much better strat that was more consistent and it was easier to do.
There's actually two. There's T-Mob Erasure Part 1 and T-Mob Erasure Part 2.
Oh, I'm not aware of those.
We just remember Part 2.
Oh.
So coming up here in a little bit, there's a lot of big tunnels here, and Gonark is very big. She got quite the dumpy. And to prevent Gonark from getting stuck, the devs had to leave some holes in this tunnel here. So there's a very tiny hole that we need a very specific lineup to get through, but Eold is going to use that to boost through that little hole in the tunnel, get out of the intended play space, and just fall all the way down to the bottom here. Then boost himself up to some invisible walls to hit the change level trigger from the outside of this tunnel.
Shout out Fast Satchel.
Woohoo! There we go.
No,
Yeah,
That was Gunark's lair.
Yay! If you throw satchels, if you left click throws a satchel, right click detonates it, but if you do both at the same time, it doesn't actually detonate the first satchel, and you can throw two like really quickly, like cancels the animation.
it looks
Very gnarly.
It looks like this. Two.
Yeah.
And then that's very much an IL strat that I have implemented into full game runs because I like Interloper. I am one of the only people who do.
Hey, I'm here.
I'm also here.
Yeah, it's true. We have slowly all the people. Oh, what
yeah,
the heck
this
is going on with
this
that
is a new
water?
thing.
Huh?
Tech.
How? What did
I
you
don't
do?
know.
It's so pretty. You spilled
Yeah,
so much oil.
for some reason, it's just Eold's Interloper has Pride Month always.
I
Or
thought it had
that,
to
or
do
they're
with
doing
Lambda.
some.
I thought it had to do with Lambda Core skip, but I failed it earlier, and this still happens, so I am completely clueless now.
Either that,
Well,
or
you
there's
did
some-
load a save where you did do random
Oh, that is
That
true.
is true. Either that, or there's some very poorly regulated oil mining operations going on in Zen, and it spilled all into the water. Ooh. So this level has some gnarly music. Please enjoy. Oh, Jesus, that was a good boost.
Okay, now I have to hit this ending.
Wait. Okay.
Alright. This is...
The goat. Ah, I put too much pressure on it.
Trying that.
Music stops.
I'm gonna do it one more time.
Eold!
That was too shallow.
Alright, there we go. There we go.
No way.
So if you hit water while charging the Tau cannon, you take 10 damage. Or, sorry, 20 damage, I think. Eold here inconveniently has 17 health.
That's the second time I've ever really done something like that. The first time was literally perfect and it almost led to a community gold, but I messed up the satchel boost earlier on, so it tied it.
Golly. Ooh, double satchels.
Another fast satchel here. Whee!
Oh.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, we found that if you put enough explosives behind you, it'll push you down the hallway very quickly.
Normally people take health there, but...
Eold's a gamer. Did you make it through the whole thing?
Aw.
Ah, you did, but you got stuck in the ground.
That's a... I'm not sure if you would consider that like very rare to do, but it's pretty hard to do, and it doesn't save time if you can go all the way through. It saves time RTA, but I didn't intend for that to happen.
Yeah, this is another timer abuse strat. There's a little electric door that appears that we get stuck under to just clip through a wall that saves like 5 seconds of movement.
Here you just shot the Tau cannon through a wall. Never mind that.
Yes, Vac.
That's a thing, yep.
Yep. Don't worry about it.
This IGT's looking really
Eold plays Counter-Strike in very legitimate ways. which is how you got global elite.
It's actually AG strats. Play AG, play it now.
Golly.
Play Duck Game as well while you're at it.
Play Duck Game first. I think something in this map was named Team Up Erasure Part 1.
So that's another IL strat that I've been going for. Fast satchel here. It saves maybe half of a second at most, I guess. This is some very Monka HP, but I think I can do this. Yeah, I can do
You're
it.
fine.
Thank you, Action Storm, as well for this one.
Yeah, this I think is Team Up Erasure Part 1.
Oh yeah, no, that would make sense because upcoming here is Team Up Erasure Part 2.
Woohoo! Yeah!
I really want to see if I can hit the Ultra Swag strat, but I don't want to. I'm not going to reload over it because that's even harder to hit.
15%.
Alright, here we go.
Alright, this is the grand strat. We used to do some very silly
Displacement?
boosts, and then Action Storm realized that there's just a big slope in the back of this room that we can use to get enough height.
Source
The Eold is
displacements are
now
awesome.
getting, something called getting displaced, which means that sometimes if you hit a displacement, instead of getting a nice slow boost, it just gets bonked and stopped completely. Because good engine.
Everything happens in the marathon. That has never happened to me before.
Yeah.
He said it.
Yay! Mark it off the list. Bingo cards. I'm one away
Add
from
it to the
bingo.
iceberg. I forgot the
So
line
here's
first.
probably the single biggest skip in the entire game. This room is very long. I don't remember exactly what you do here. I think you blow up a lot of factory equipment and pipes.
While since I've played through casually.
Yeah, fortunately there's a slope here and we have satchels and we can get to the back of the level change trigger and go into it backwards. Woohoo!
Nice.
And yep, there we go.
Going the
Skips like-
intended way would take you about 5 minutes, and like this, it takes you 20 seconds.
I thought it was like 15 minutes of gameplay. I don't remember.
I'm not gonna
It's been a long time since I played through this game the intended way.
I'm gonna see if I can do it the
if you get lost,
swag
you
way.
could make it 20 minutes easily.
Rip the swag way.
I remember, how long was the Interloper world record in the past? Just an arbitrary amount of time? Because there's been a lot of strats discovered over the years.
So back when Zen first came out, a couple months after that, it was like at 11 minutes, I believe, held by Kovic.
Yeah, when I first did Ambush Skip, it was 11 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah. And then I looked at it and found a bunch of funny little slopes you could, or a couple of slopes you could use. The big thing was at the very end, we'll see later, there's a huge elevator we learned how to skip. And that cut, like, overall brought it down to like 7 or so. I guess really like, brought it down to like 7 or so minutes. And now we're down to 6.5. So Interloper is has been the single biggest time save as far as like an individual level to be cut down in this entire game.
Let's see if I can get the full send.
All right, here we go. This coming up here, Eold is going to get Shower Glitch, which is very important because he's going to be using a lot of explosives to go for what is called Biggest Boost. It is called Biggest Boost because it is the biggest vertical boost in the entire game. I'd be willing to guess it is also just straight up the longest distance we travel with explosives in the entire game. There's a very tall room here and some very unfriendly slopes. Eold is going to drop 3 trip mines, which are the most damaging explosives in the game as far as I know, and 3 satchels, to give him a metric stupid ton of speed into this slope, and then he's going to very skillfully airstrafe around a bunch of protrusions from this wall that are going to stop him in his tracks. And if everything works out correctly,
This boost is human RNG.
yeah.
Ooh, unfortunate.
The speedrunning equivalent of detonating the Tsar Bomba behind your posterior.
Yes. Kovic, how long has a strat been around, do you think?
Like 1 month after Zen released.
All right, so it's been around for almost 3 years, for like over 3 years at this point. We've never found a better one. We have made one optimization, which was just airstrafing really well so you could go up the full room in one go. But that's really hard.
There is a different strat that Table has found, and it's more consistent, but I elect not to do it because it loses a few seconds. That's it.
Is it really
I've
more
elected not
consistent
to do
though? Is it?
Yeah, no, I don't really agree with saying that it's more consistent.
Yeah, it's inconsistent in different ways.
All right, elevator skip. Here we go.
So here's the grand elevator. There are 3 sort of mini boss fights where you have to destroy some crystals to open a door to allow you to continue up the elevator. We, however, have a lot of explosives and a lot of health and a lot of crystals to heal us. So we are going to ignore this elevator and use some very friendly slopes to boost our way up. This map used to take anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. Now it takes about 1.5 minutes. We're going to start with a very specific lineup. Eold is going to shoot 3 SMG nades into the air so they all land on him while he can be unpaused. And then he's going to throw in a Tau boost with it. And if everything lines up properly...
I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, wait. Let's go.
Everything lines up properly, Eold boosts to the first boss fight.
I did the lineup
That's
wrong.
stage 1 complete. Now he needs to kill some of these enemies that would cause him problems if he just let them be.
Mandatory jammer as well.
Yes, mandatory jammer.
This is the music that like you have in the back of your head when you know that you're like on the verge of greatness, like you're gonna get world record, and then this intense music kicks up and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot play.
This is definitely one of the, not I'd say inconsistent, but hardest maps of the game. All right, so this next boost here, we're going to give ourselves a bunch of speed and then hit this weird sloped generator thingy and save load as we boost out so that we get shower glitch because there's a big crystal next to us. Now we made it to the final boss fight. Unfortunately, there's a sealed like chamber around the shaft, so we can't, and a couple of kill triggers that we can't help our way through. So we actually have to destroy the crystals to open up the door. But because we skipped the elevator so much so far, we'd have to wait like 40 seconds for the elevator to catch up with us. So instead, Eold is going to use his last remaining explosives, minus a couple grenades, to launch himself up the final stage, the final and longest stage of the elevator. With his last 2 remaining trip mines, his last 3 remaining satchels, and here we go. And also
Last
his
3
3 remaining rockets.
Yeah. And it's also important to stop for a second in that healing area using Quantum Pause, because otherwise you would die to those rockets.
And there we go. That's elevator skip. Very clean.
That saved 10 seconds over world record.
Goat.
This is a snark. We haven't seen many snarks, but this is what the snark looks like.
Run Half-Life Source, run it now.
Ignore it.
Yeah, run Half-Life Source, run it now. We have snarks. Or they have snarks in Half-Life Source that actually speed up the game. Alright, so this is the end of Interloper. Kovic, I'm gonna let you talk about what's coming up here.
Coming up
Don't let me
is
down.
I won't.
Nyland, the final boss. So we can do this boss really quickly using a specific route. So I'm going to explain what he's going to do. So the boss has 3 phases. In the first phase, he will first plant some satchels on the ground, which is where crystals will come out of later. But first, in the first phase, you need to destroy 3 spinning crystals that are hanging from the ceiling. And doing that disables Nyland's infinite shield, and then Eold can start shooting the Nyland. And after he shoots him enough, the crystals from the ground will rise up that he would use to heal himself. But thanks to the satchels that he sets up, he can destroy all the crystals with 1 detonation and go straight into phase 3, where there's just an island with no shields, and then
Interesting.
you shoot at it until it dies, and
I'm sorry, Johann.
afterwards his head opens and he has 1 final crystal in his head, and shooting that crystal is when the run ends and we call time.
Eold, I'm very disappointed. So, Nyland, when well drilled, there's one thing that's a little bit weird about it, but when well drilled, it is pretty much, this is the weird thing that can sometimes happen.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate. I need some more ammo. Thank you very much.
In my opinion, as far as like gameplay goes, this is the single easiest level in the game. For whatever reason, since my world record has been taken from me, all the new kids that have done so have not been very good at this level. Which makes me very upset, because they save time in some absurd ways, Eold and Knight, but then they just lose 30 seconds on this guy, and it boggles my mind.
Going in for the
Here we
final
are.
with my remaining ammo.
Alright.
And we're close to time.
Time's coming up.
And time.
Woohoo! And now the most important part of the entire run. Eold is going to long jump into the wall and miss it completely.
Oh, I thought I had it.
No!
Oh well.
You can get no clip here. It's completely useless, but you can
Considering
get
I failed Lambda Core clip like 5 separate times, that's actually not a bad time. I got a 108 IGT.
Yo! You beat my marathon PB by like 12 minutes. That's a new world record. Actually, wait. Knight's last run at
Knights, yeah, the one that was on world record pace midway because he just didn't reset.
yeah, that one last. It was either last MDSR marathon or last Sorcerer's marathon might be the world record for marathon Black Mesa runs.
With that being said, that is Black Mesa. Boom. GG's.
GG's. Good job. That's pretty clean.
Shout out the Black Mesa Speedrun and Banter Discord server. I would not be here without their help and support when learning this game. Shout out AG and Duck Game, play them both.
I took the liberty of relieving you of your weapons.
And thank you, Johann and Kovic, for both being here and commentating for me. It was very nice of you guys to go out of your way to do this.
Thank you for running this wonderful, wonderful game and still having the patience for it.
This is just a cutscene right now. It's basically the end. This is a very unfortunate scene of the aftermath of the war.
Stop spoiling the game. Let people play it themselves. Golly.
My bad, my bad.
I will say that like your biggest time loss in this run was probably just
Lambda Core.
Lambda Core. Like without that, if that was a 108, if you didn't mess that up, you probably like that's like a 105 territory. Like that literally is territory of BD by PB in a marathon run.
That was 101. That was 101 territory. I lost 6 minutes on it.
For reference, this is a hour-and-a-half speed run, and the world record is about an hour long. A little 59:33, I think. That is insane for a marathon setting.
Also, Segment BMDQ, Black Mesa Done Quick, is a segmenting project that has been going on for almost 5 years now, I believe, and we're getting close to the end. It'd be nice if more people could segment alongside with us, as many runners have come and gone over the years.
Eold, you have one chance to redeem yourself here for what you failed to do in your world record. You can now free yourself and deny the G-Man's offer. At the end of the game, the G-Man opens a portal that you have to go to, and we always do that up until big milestones are broken, in which case you're free. You're allowed to deny the offer and release yourself from this game. Which Eold has now done, is he got sub 1 hour run and the current world record.
My job in Black Mesa is done.
Yep.
And this dude like, shut up. I'm not gonna join you, bro.
Working together.
It's like I'm out in deep space, and G-Man is like, listen, I have immense power. You better come with me. And I'm like, nah.
I have immensely more power.
And yeah, unfortunately.
Also, this ending just looks way cooler. Ah.
No. Jeez. GG.
GG. Now we get what's it called? Credits music. There we go. Hey, you typed a bad word.
And this is the music you listen to after you get a world record, or one of the two pieces of music you listen to.
Very calming.
You mean keygasm?
Of course. I wanted to replace the audio file, but I elected not to. GG's.
GG.
GG.